أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم أكرمنا بنور الفهم، وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم، وسهل أخلاقنا بالحلم، واجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم آمين. Just subhanallah, so that we kind of remind each other of again why we're here, on the day of judgment. In the authentic hadith that was reported, it will be said that the mu'mineen will be evaluated based on what they do. So all of us, we bring in everything that we've done. After everything is said and done, and inshallah everybody here has been told you're going to go to Jannah. So you have your level in Jannah, ya Uthman, ya Hafsa, ya, and so on. So once the place has been decided, it will be said, now start to recite Quran. After it's all said, after the assignment has been done, it will be said, now recite the Quran. And so based on the level of the recitation of the person will be increased in terms of their ranking, and they stop at a level where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that's enough, you've reached your limit, kind of thing. So your limit in Jannah is actually determined by how much your recitation is. So what is that recitation? Is it the Quran recitation by itself, or is it hifz by itself, or is it a combination? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. The hadith said by how much Quran. But it makes sense, of course, that the way it's recited, the way it's revealed when we recite it, has something to do with that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the exact equation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us among those high levels of Jannah because of the Quran, inshallah. So inshallah today we go into the letters of more letters of the tongue. And just as a quick review, and since Wa'il here is with us, it's a good review, good start for you, Wa'il. If you remember, we talked about the different parts of the tongue, and we said that this is the back of the tongue, and this is the middle of the tongue. We have the front, and we have the tip, and then we have the sides, or the lateral parts of the tongue. From the back comes which letters? Qaf and Kaf. Relatively speaking, is Qaf at the back or at the front? At the back. So we say Aq, and then we say Ak, Aq, Ak, Aq, Ak. Kaf is a little bit to the front, so that's where it. Middle comes which letters? Jim, Ya, and Sheen. So Aj, Ash, Ay. And you have to train your tongue. If it comes from a different place, then you have it in error. It has to come from the middle of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth. And so the roof of the mouth we're referring to is here. So from the middle of the tongue should touch here, this roof of the mouth. So Aj, Aj, it's the middle of the tongue. Aj, Ash, Ay, that kind of thing, inshallah. And then from the front, we started with few letters last time, which were? Actually, we stopped on the middle, right? Yeah. We stopped at the middle. Very good. Okay, good. One of the very important aspects of the parts of the tongue and why we emphasize all of this is later on when we talk about attributes of letters, and we talk about ikhfa, which is a major attribute that we'll talk about because it applies to all the letters of the Quran except for a few of them. Then it's very important that I get the qaf from the back because the ikhfa has something to do with it, and we'll talk about that in detail. So we're not just talking about getting the letter itself, but the attributes eventually apply to these articulation points, or where the location where the letters actually come from. So inshallah today we go into some of these extra letters, inshallah. And so we go into these. These are among the very difficult. This is the most difficult makhraj, okay, for many, not just non-Arabs but also the Arabs. Partly because this letter, which is Dad, is actually mixed with Va, and it sounds, how are we mixing it? For most part, in Yemen, for example, where I come from, we don't have almost a Dad, so we say wala dhalin kind of thing. That's what we say, wala dhalin, as opposed to using the word Dad. Dad comes from the side of the tongue. So in the picture that we talked about earlier, in this one, so the Dad comes from these. It is said that the Prophet ﷺ primarily had it from the left side of his tongue, alayhi salatu wassalam. There are some that got it from the right. You can do it from both. It really doesn't matter. And when you start to train yourself, you see that the sound actually sounds the same, provided that when you do it from either one or both sides, there are some parts of the teeth that have to be involved. So it's very important we distinguish these teeth here. Very important. This front part is called so let's go to this picture, inshallah. This front part, this one that you're seeing here, is called the central incisors. Okay? Very important to distinguish these. Baba, Ammar Baba, lo samah. These are the front incisors. This here, this one, which is the one next to it here, is called the lateral incisor. Okay? Again, just in terms of names, keep those in mind. And then we have the next one here, which is the canine teeth, on both sides, of course. And then, and this is where the distinctions are, we have the first molar teeth, this one here, and then the next one is the middle molar, sometimes called premolar teeth. And then we have the molar teeth. So you have molar, the premolar, this is the this is the molar, premolar, let me do this, incisors, lateral incisor, canine, the premolar, and then you have the molar teeth, and then you have the kind of the wisdom teeth almost coming at the back. What's most important is the following: when dad comes out from the lateral parts of the tongue, so notice that when it comes out, it puts pressure on the teeth. Now notice these dots that you're seeing here are points of emphasis, pressure points. So when the dad comes out, the real pressure that you put is on the molars. You put pressure primarily on the molars, and then on the premolars here, on these here, the kind of the first molar, and then as you go into premolar and canine, and here it's just very superficially being there, almost just touching it. The primary part is here. We mentioned this because as you put a lot of pressure here, one of the attributes eventually that we'll talk about is called istitala, which is lengthening. When you put a lot of pressure here, you want to extend the pressure here, because by putting a lot of pressure here and here being a little bit loose, the tongue will do just a little bit of, just millimeters, just very little, just this much movement, just this. That's called istitala, lengthening of that tongue. So how does it apply? So for example, when we say here, how do we test letters? Just everybody here. We do an alif before it and a dad, a sukun on the dad. So we say al. You see that it's not just putting kind of puffing air in there. No, the reason it's staying there is I'm trying to put a lot of pressure here and putting this a little bit loose. Pressure really on the molars. Okay. Yeah, don't put kind of air at the end. That's a big error that people, so people would do no, there's no kind of and so you hold on to it, but because of the pressure that's been applied here, there will be a slight kind of pushing of the it's that pressure, that small extension is what we call istitala or lengthening. This is a very difficult one when we come to apply it. So inshallah we have kind of numerous examples here that we would like to kind of touch on. So I want to kind of emphasize as we go over these that you feel that you're actually putting some pressure here. This will require a lot of training. Natural tendency is the tongue will kind of let go. It will move too fast before you put pressure. That's the natural tendency. Because there isn't pressure here, because there isn't here, natural is for it to let go, to move. But the idea is to put pressure here. Okay, and you will see later on when we talk about attributes of the letter, you're going to see few attributes that actually make that happen. So, but I don't want to kind of jump into those. So for now, we'll go through these. The first one, for example, should say anybody. This is how we've been doing it. So we could just pick, since there are few of them here. I would like to actually go over. We'll start with Suhail. Let's say, pick 3 of them. Let's start with the first one.
يضلل
يضلل ما شاء الله. Very good. Continue. Next.
وغض
You see, notice here, letters are more emphasized when they have a sukun on them. Here, it's mutaharrik. So you would just say, وغضب. Very good. وغضب. Yeah. Notice, this letter would have a tendency to make it a dal. A lot of people would have a tendency to make it a dal. Why? Later on you will see that dal comes by putting pressure here. That's what dal is. Ad. We're going to talk about it. So if you do not put pressure here, there's a tendency, because of the natural movement of the tongue, there's a tendency to put pressure here as opposed to here. One of them is going to happen. So if you miss the dad, you're going to end up with a dad. Okay, like, which is the wrong one. So you need to kind of وغضب. وغضب. ما شاء الله. جيد. Next.
غير المغضوب.
ما شاء الله. جيد. Very good.
ولا الضالين.
Very good. There is here, because it has a shadda, it should stay longer. No, even on the dad, even on the dad. So ولا الض. Yeah. ما شاء الله. Very good. Very good. Hassam? Yeah, continue.
يضاعف.
Again?
يضاعف.
أيوه. But don't make a shadda out of it, because it's متحرك.
Okay.
يضاعف.
يضاعف. يضاعف.
ما شاء الله. Yeah. Again, continue. يرضه. Yeah. Again, just focus here. يرضه.
يرضه.
ض. طيب. Continue. أيوة. I want you to stop there with the sukun.
Okay. قلوبهم مرض.
Yeah, this is where you will test it, because it stops with the sukun. So notice, you want to put pressure here on that one. في قلوبهم مرض. Very good. Very good. طيب. Let's start with the sisters. أخت منى. أيوة. لا. يضلل. امسكيها. pressure. هنا. مش يضلل. يضلل. أيوة. Very good.
وغضب.
ما شاء الله. جيد.
غير المغضوب.
أيوة. طيب كمل. أيوة. testing. again. لا. ولا الض. أيوة. أحسن. بس أنا حاب البريشر هنا شوية، لأن حاسس البريشر هنا زي الطاء kind of thing is coming out. طاء is from here. تاء and طاء come from here. ضاد come from here primarily. ولا الض. أيوة. أيوة. أحسن. ما شاء الله. جيد جدا. ما شاء الله. We go to a brother. Yeah.
Your tongue is not moving to actually one side for emphasis. You're just, the air pressure is
yes,
more
it's
on one side.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And the Prophet ﷺ, it was noticed that primarily he used to have it on the left side. So and the Sahaba struggled to actually imitate that, because it's enough to put pressure on both. At least you try to, but to put it on one is it's just a little bit. You kind of it's different. Even the Sahaba admitted, when some of them they tried to imitate, they had a difficulty imitating on the left side. Yeah. طيب. طارق.
Where should I start?
ابدأ هنا. Again. عالي. ما شاء الله. كمل.
وغاضب.
أيوه. مش دبا. هنا. وغاضب. ما شاء الله عليك. أيوة كمل.
غير المغضوب
أحسنت والله. This one here.
ولا
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. Very good. Next طارق. يضاعف. يضاعف. أحسنت ما شاء الله عليك. Do this one here.
يضلل.
لا مش يض. Don't put you're putting the tongue outside the teeth. You're putting yud. It's not yud. It's يضلل. أيوة. Limit it by the teeth. Don't let the side of the tongue go beyond the teeth. It's the inner part. In other words, if you look at this, it's here. The pressure is from this side here, not the outside. يضلل. أيوة ما شاء الله عليك. Much better. Much better. أخذ سلمى. ما شاء الله. Again. طيب بس شوية before you let go of it حط pressure هنا. Again. أيوة ما شاء الله. Much better. Do this one here. أيوة جيد. هذه معلش شوية. It has a thought kind of thing. شوية هنا. أيوة ما شاء الله. much better. الله يبارك فيك. جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيك. This one here. أخذ سلمى again. بس I want to stop with the سكون. That's the test. قلوبهم مرض. أيوة. Very good. That was much better. عثمان. أحسنت. Next. أيوة اللي هذا.
غير المغضوب.
Again.
غير المغضوب.
أيوة مغضوبي. أيوة ما شاء الله عليك.
ولا الضالين.
Again.
ولا الضالين.
We're not stopping the air. We're not stopping the air because that is another attribute. So we're not saying we're not stopping. We're just putting pressure. So you're building pressure in there, not stopping. Okay, go ahead. ما شاء الله. جيد. Very very good. Much better. شمشاد. Start from the first one إن شاء الله. أيوة. ما شاء الله.
غير المغضوب.
Oh very good. طيب. Thank you. Well, better. I think it just needs a little bit of practice. Repeat that if you will. أيوة, very good. That was much better. Very good. This one here, stopping with the dad with a sukun. Yeah. Thank you. No comments. Go ahead. Marab. Very good. Marab. أيوة, very good. والله very good. ما شاء الله. أخذ جيلان. You want a drink? تفضل. ما شاء الله. تفضل. Go ahead. أيوة. ما شاء الله. ما شاء الله. جيد. ما شاء الله. جيد والله. طب هذه آخر هذه. هذه يرضه. ما شاء الله. وهذه ما شاء الله. The reason I'm emphasizing لأن earlier when you did it was really off. I'm glad you're saying it right. If you can do this. أيوة. مرض. You see, you don't want to make مرض You don't want to say marad. There is no marad. It's marab. Marab. And just putting that pressure there and stopping. Without any air, without marab. أيوة أحسنت والله. Yeah, this is one of those. ما شاء الله. طيب أم أحمد.
يضلل
لا عيدي ثاني.
يضلل
لا هنا الضغط هنا. يضلل. أيوة ما شاء الله.
وغضب
حلو.
غير المغضوب
مغضوب. أيوة ما شاء الله. Very good.
ولا الضالين
لا معلش.
ولا
ولا before you let go of it, build the pressure. It's a double dot kind of thing.
الضالين
Yeah, we need to work. We need to talk. جيد إن شاء الله. طب هذه
قلوبهم مرض
قلوبهم مرض.
قلوبهم مرض
جيد جيد. I don't want it to fade. It's not fading. You're not fading out. So you're not saying marad and no marad. You're building pressure and then stopping. Building pressure.
مرض
مرض.
مرض
جيد. Okay. And again, the idea is putting pressure here, and then just naturally it's going to move. Just you will notice it after a while. With some training, you're going to see that the tongue slightly, just millimeters, is just going to move that much because of the pressure you're building. The pressure will force it to move, and you will notice it after a while, inshallah. أخذ سنة. Again. يضلل. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. Okay. Hold on to it. It's a double dot or more or less. It's a shadda. It's telling you hold on to me. Okay. ولا الض. ما شاء الله. Very good. Again. ما شاء. But again, put pressure before you let go. ولا الض. ولا الض. أيوه. ما شاء الله. Just a little bit more training will get there. Next. يضاعف. Yeah, don't forget the noon. We did that last week. Yeah, okay. Again. يضاعف. ما شاء الله. This one. يرضه. يرضه. Better. Well, tough one here. قلوبهم مرض. ما شاء الله. Very good. Fadi, did you do it? Not yet. تفضل. Again. Yeah, don't let go of it before that pressure here. يضلل. أحسنت. Very nice. أيوة. ما شاء الله. حلو. أيوة. معلش, that one there is not enough. لا still. ولا الضوء. ولا الضوء. ولا الضوء. أيوة. There's a tone to it. I don't want طاء. ولا الضوء. ولا الضوء. We need to talk later إن شاء الله. طيب امسك هذه الضاد. ها جيد. طيب هذه هنا فادي.
قلوبهم مرض.
حلو. مرض. حلو. جيد. طيب we got the ضاد at least. حسام, you tried it, right? You did, yeah. طيب let's move on إن شاء الله. لام. مخرج اللام. Okay. It's interesting that it's from the side of the tongue. In some books you're going to see that it says it's from the front. So going back to the picture, let's see what's happening here. So some of them they say it's from the front, some of them they say it's from the side. What it's actually is, it's the side of the front. So you're going to see that's why in some books they say it's the front, some of them they say it's the side. It's not really the complete side, meaning on this. No, it's the front aspect of the side of the front aspect of the tongue. So we're going to see what that means in a little bit. Okay. Very interesting letter. Now again, these are showing pressure points. So you notice that the pressure is more on one side than the other. Okay. What's causing this pressure is that tongue as it comes. What side of the tongue? It's the side, the front side of it, the aspect of it. So this picture here doesn't show it very nicely. So for example, how do we test? How do we test? We say al, right? So there's a tendency for us to say al, because we think it's the front. That is actually, it's not al, it's actually the side, this. So al. There's a slight deviation. That actually, you see, we're almost forcing it to happen like this. For the Arabs, it was naturally coming like this. Later on, we'll talk about, and I'll remind you of this, there is some attribute called Lin Umar. On those letters, such a thing should happen. But for the other letters, there's a way that it vents out. For the lam and the ra that you will see, the only way that it comes straight, because there is no way of venting, is that the tongue deviates a little bit. There is a slight deviation. So we say al. So when we say al-Fatiha, for example, alhamdu, we don't say alhamdu. You know, people almost force it because they're thinking that it's the front. So they say alhamdu. It's not al, it's forcing a wrong thing. It's the natural. Alhamdu. That's how it comes. Okay, so that's called the attribute of inhiraf. There's a natural deviation of the tongue. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so keep that in mind, the pressure being slightly to just one side. So now looking at these examples, okay, so for example here when we say alayhim, okay, here what does it say? I can see it better there. Amalun, or if you're gonna stop, amal. That slight deviation, just putting pressure on just one side will actually do it. So let's test this, if you will. We'll start from sisters this time, inshallah. أخذ منها.
عليهم.
أيوة.
عمل لطيف.
أيوة. من غل. أعتقد that's what it is. من غل. أيوة. من غل. أيوة. أحسنتي ما شاء الله. Because of the shadda being here, so when you stop at it, it's almost like a double lam. So it should be evident here. من غل. أحسنتي. Very nice. ما شاء الله. أيوة. Next. الفافة. حلو. ما شاء الله. I don't think we'll have problem. هذه again.
الحمد.
ما شاء الله. I think we're good. طيب أم أحمد.
عليهم
أيوة.
عمل لطيف.
I think طيب هذا.
الفافة رب العالمين.
ما شاء الله. We're good. طيب حسام.
لطيف الفافة الحمد.
ما شاء الله. طيب we're good. حفصة. What happened to the ha? Again. Okay. الحمد. أيوة. الحمد. ما شاء الله. هي رب العالمين. What happened to the ayn? It's supposed to be a review. Come on. Rabb. There you go. MashaAllah. Okay. And this one, Al-Fafa. Al-Fafa. You see, the idea here is put pressure before you let go of the lam. Because there is people would say Al-Fafa. It's not Al-Fafa. You didn't put any pressure. You want to do Al-Fafa. Alhamdulillah. You see, that's what you want to do. Rabbil Alameen, as opposed to Rabbil Alameen. It came from the right makhraj, but from the right articulation point, but without putting enough pressure. You want to do both. Put the pressure before you let go. Okay? Al-Fafa, Rabbil Alameen, and so on. طيب. So let's hear it. أخت سلمى. أيوة. أيوة. من غل. أيوة. طيب again. ما شاء الله. ما شاء الله. Well, if you do this, it corrects a lot in the Quran. Put the pressure along with the makhraj, not just the articulation point, but the pressure with it. Before you let go of the lam, you always have to say that. Alhamdulillah, when we do Surah Al-Fatiha, which is kind of very common thing. A number of you, when you were, of course we were not counting it, but a number of you, of course, were focusing on the ha and the ayn. So you just go, Alhamdulillah. And it just, so you need to, before you let go, put pressure on the lam. طيب, Uthman. أيوة. It's a غين by the من غل. أيوة. هنا double lam. فit should be more evident.
من غل.
حلو. ما شاء الله.
الفافا.
not الفافا. Not الفافا. It's الفافا.
الفافا.
Do you see the distinction? Very good. طيب. Here.
الحمد لله.
أحسنت. Very good. Oh, we have a double lam here. Go ahead.
الحمد لله.
ما شاء الله. طيب, وائل.
الفافا.
Again.
الفافا.
Okay.
الحمد.
ما شاء الله. عليهم.
عليهم.
طيب, how about this one?
العالم.
رب
العالم.
Yeah, but I want to put that lam, emphasis on the lam.
العالم.
رب العالمين.
العالم.
There you go. Very good. Sister Shamshad?
الفافا
Mm.
الحمد لله
ما شاء الله.
رب العالمين
ما شاء الله.
من غل.
ما شاء الله. Teek hey. That was very good. ما شاء الله. Very nice. Hassan, we did it with you?
Yeah.
We did it. طيب. طارق. Here?
الفافا
Mm-hmm.
الحمد لله
ما شاء الله.
رب العالمين.
طيب, next طارق.
الفافا
أها.
الحمد لله
أيوة.
رب العالمين.
Very good. Anybody has a problem with this? Sana, let's try this before we let go. Okay. Start from the beginning.
عليهم
Okay. Well, ha عليهم.
عليهم
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
عامل
أيوة.
لطيف
أيوة. ما شاء الله.
من غل
من غل.
من غل
غل. غل.
من غل.
ما شاء الله. Very good. My apologies, but I want, ما شاء الله. You're doing very good. الفافا.
الفافا
Yeah, make sure that lam before you let go. الفافا.
الفافا
Uh-huh.
الحمد لله
ما شاء الله. Again. And then here.
رب العالمين
رب الع.
رب العالمين.
ما شاء الله. طيب. Is this okay? Lam. طيب. Now, so two letters kind of come from the side. Primarily it's the dad when we talk about the real from the side. But then the front was the front side aspect was the lam. Now, as far as the front of the teeth, the front of the tongue is concerned, it's actually noon and ra. Okay, this here is a beast. Ra is a very difficult one. So bear with me, this might be a little bit challenging here as we go over this. But two letters, noon and ra, come from the front of the tongue. So let's just go ahead in terms of the picture. So we're referring to this part here. This part here. And it's just really this part. It's not even the back, it's this one here. So it's this part, it touches where? It actually should be touching. This is highlighted here to show you. It's the gum. Okay, here. If you notice, if you would put your finger, if it's clean, I've been touching all that stuff here with khair. There is a line more or less after the after the roots of the teeth here. There's kind of a semi line here which kind of curves where that's where it hits. An. So don't do a noon with the for example the an. It's not an. No, it's an. Put the tongue a little bit behind to make sure that it touches the roots, that lining of the gum. An, not an. You see the difference? It's not an, it's an. Very important. Reason is when you do a noon in a little bit, you're going to see that it should completely seal. If because of the curve nature, where it touches, where the curve is, and I'll show it to you here, it's very evident on this. Because of this curve, when you hit it on the curve, it will make a seal. But if you're going to do it at the teeth here, you see this gap? That gap will make the sound kind of fading. What you want is to completely seal it. By sealing, the actual air would go through the nose. It will come out from the nose. So people have a hard time getting the sound from the nose simply because they don't put the tongue in the right area here. They put it on the teeth as opposed to the gum. Okay, very critical. You're going to see the implication of this in a little bit. So let's start with the noon and then we'll go to the ra. So this is what I'm talking about. It's colorful there. Maybe you can't see it here. But see, it's here. Once you seal this completely, what happens here is that the air, actually this is an opening here for the nasal cavity, for the nose. So the air actually should come out completely from the nose. So when it's not an, we don't put emphasis on the throat. The sound shouldn't come from the throat. It should come purely from the nose. So it should an.